You are the monster.
Now, run.
Okay, so Josh, the narcissism part makes a lot of sense to me as a doctor. A lot of doctors are narcissists. That's going to carry over into not good narcissism pretty easily. But one of the components that you talk a lot about is the lack of empathy. And I think that's going to help us to sort of shape the rest of the conversation about his relationship with the creature, but also with his friends. We see his lack of empathy in the way that he treats his friends and even his possible love interest. What in the movie can you point to that, like, that's not normal empathy? That's narcissistic personality disorder showing itself rather than feeling that sense of empathy that we should be feeling.
Yeah, he treats the other three main characters that he interacts with as objects.
Right.
Pure and simple. And we can just tick them off. He treats Elizabeth as an extension of himself. Her only value to him, actually, well, two things. One, he only really likes her at the beginning because his brother possesses her and not him.
Right.
But then he only really likes her because she's special enough to see how special he is. She's the only one to appreciate how amazing he is.
That one makes so much sense to me, and I see that all the time. And I think that we all are a little bit guilty of that, of like, oh, finally someone sees the real me, and it's like, okay, well, you're not all that special.
We don't really see that here because the relationship doesn't burgeon long enough. But the real trap there in seeing how special a narcissist is that you can't keep up that valuation of their specialness the whole time. Sooner or later, you will disappoint the narcissist.
Right.
Oh, you're dumb and worthless now because you're not seeing how special I continue to be.
My heart wants.
Your heart. Of all the human anatomy, that is the organ furthest from your understanding.
Secondly, his relationship with Herr Harlander is purely transactional. When his benefactor Harlander dies, kind of at Victor's hand,
Right.
He doesn't mourn him at all. This guy was his friend and mentor for years. The film portrays his mourning of him as an asset and a lost opportunity for funding and resources.
Is my uncle here?
What?
My uncle, is he here?
So at some point in the movie, Elizabeth dies, and Victor Frankenstein shoots her. But he blames her death on the creature.
It attacked her! It attacked her!
Victor is so incredibly haunted by all of his mistakes. He just can't tell you what any of them are.
Right. Yeah, they must be monumental mistakes.
Oh, he makes the biggest mistakes.
The biggest, the best, the bigliest mistakes.
I
Yeah,
make
but
the
he can't
biggest
say what
mistakes. No one's ever seen mistakes like I can make. Right?
And Jeff, finally, not the biggest example of narcissism, but the one that is most impactful generationally is the way he treats his offspring, the creature. After bringing the creature to life, Victor's initial wonder quickly turns to frustrated contempt.
Right.
It's so quick to turn to contempt that he doesn't actually go down the pathways, the natural pathways, of teaching him life, which we find out later, the creature is very easy to learn.
Right.
He learns basically on his own, but because he doesn't respond in the way that Victor wants, he basically discards the creature.
That point is very well made in two other scenes in the movie. One, he just wants the creature to say some other word other than Victor.
Boots! Can you say boots?
Big time.
And the creature can't. And it's what leads Victor to like burn his whole house down. It's like, just say one word and I'll save you. And Elizabeth makes the point.
The creature knows but one word and one word alone. Victor, 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 Victor. Just parrots it without rhyme or reason.
Perhaps for the time being, that word means everything to him.
And it is the first time that a baby says dada or mama. That's what it is, but Victor can't see it. And then in the other is the monster forms a familial and paternal relationship with the blind villager. The blind man knows there's something living out in their barn. And then when everybody leaves, he's like, come on in, spirit of the forest, and treats him very well. And their creature responds in kind. Hey, yeah, with a little bit of love and compassion, this creature can become not a monster. This creature can become something capable of love and all these things. Like, we do just want a little bit of love. Does the creature have a diagnosis?
Well, the creature certainly suffers from trauma. There's not a diagnosis for this, but what the creature is suffering from is the creature is suffering from the ruptured attachment trauma of being raised by a personality disordered parent.
Okay.
So that's the relationship, Jeff, between Frankenstein and the creature. So Frankenstein rejects the creature. Frankenstein rejects his child because the child isn't fulfilling his needs.
One of the things we've teased so far is, you obviously have Victor, you have the creature, but this movie and the book is really about the relationship between this person with narcissistic personality disorder and their offspring.
Correct.
This is a pretty common relationship that we see even today. Did this movie accurately portray what happens to a child who is the child of someone with the narcissistic personality disorder or with any sort of personality disorder?
It really did. For folks who have cluster B personality disorders, so like narcissistic personality disorder, borderline, antisocial, histrionic, this is a pretty good portrayal. The child isn't meeting the parent's needs.
Right.
You create the child, and you saw the amazement, the wonder, the anticipation of Victor Frankenstein for creating the child. And then once the child's there, doesn't meet that person's very self-centered, empathic-less needs, and the child is rejected.
Right.
And unfortunately, we see that very often in folks with these types of personality disorders and their offspring. Not uniformly. I don't want to paint too broad a picture.
I get it, yeah.
There are some people with personality disorders who can end up learning very good skills and becoming good parents.
Right.
But by and large, that's kind of the pattern we see. We see the rejection of the child. And in many cases, the dynamic occurs, as portrayed in the film, where the child ends up, in some regards, raising themselves.
Right.
And learning from others things that the child expects and nature probably leads to, having been taught by the parent as opposed to a surrogate.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.